Earlier today, Brendon Burchard posted this. It says, people thought I was crazy before every major goal. Because before every major goal, naturally, you're not credible and unknown, untested. So you're just a dreamer, making things up, working hard, but never totally sure, waking hopeful, striving stupid, praying for guidance. Everyone thinks you're nuts. You aren't sure if they're right or wrong. Damn it, I love it. My name is Jacob Adams. I'm a fitness and leadership coach, and Brendon Burchard is actually one of my mentors. Today, I really loved seeing that because I felt that very same way. It was almost uncanny that he's a mentor of mine, and he wrote that, he posted that, and I resonated with it fully. Have you ever struggled with that feeling of not being certain if you are in fact in your life's work yet, working from a place of purpose, on the right path? Maybe you're struggling with your art, creating music, maybe you're a painter, or maybe you're looking to start a family, not sure when you're gonna meet that right soulmate. Or maybe you're in your career path, you've even made some successful strides in it, but the ups and downs that are bound to happen in any endeavor sometimes trigger you, or you feel uncertain because of those ups and downs. Whatever the case is, the chances are that you've experienced some form of these struggles, or if you're like me, all of the above. For example, me being a fitness and leadership coach, that has been something that I've gotten questioned on throughout my life. You know, from the very first year, over a decade ago, over 15 years ago even, about 15 years ago, I was asked, hey, when are you going to get a real job? When I was a fitness trainer and I had just gotten certified, and people were to ask me that or insinuate that. And I didn't get what they were getting at, because I actually really loved helping people. I loved what I did. I loved fitness, and I loved becoming dedicated and sculpting my body back then. And here we are all these years later, and just today I was studying mobility, working on a 315-pound incline bench press, and still as passionate as ever in my fitness journey, working with people to help break their PRs or their personal records, and that's just today. So from that point there, over 15 years ago, where someone says, hey, when are you going to get a real job, to now where I'm probably even more passionate and even more well-versed in being a fitness and leadership coach than I was back then. And now we're seeing a shift in consciousness where people are starting to realize that fitness isn't something that you can put aside and look at when you're 50. It's something that you have to address starting, right out of high school and during high school, and well into your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even be ready to even work even harder or apply yourself, have years of discipline, decades of discipline built up into your body, so that when you hit 80, 90, 100 years old, you're able to still walk, right? So the path to stay in the fitness industry for me has been challenging, sometimes because of working with a company or a team of managers in the past that I didn't resonate or align with. My values weren't in alignment with in the past. Maybe it was going to school and looking to get a degree while I was staying in the fitness industry. And the journey continues to get challenging even to this day, making these videos, right? For example, when I started this YouTube channel in 2016, I remember the first video's name was The Death of Oppression. And I thought, I'm going to come out the gate and have all this great success with these videos. And I felt there was going to be this awesome flurry of great connection. And it wasn't quite that way out the gate. And I remember working with Jimmy Moon, and he was getting into editing the videos, and they were coming out really good and awesome. And I thought to myself, oh great, it's just a matter of time before these videos just catch and people love them, and it's gonna make a great impact. And that was just, my heart was just in such the right place for it. And I felt such a trust in the movement, in the art form, in the science, and everything coming together, that I thought, this is gonna be awesome. And then, Jimmy had to go to another job. He wasn't really feeling the editing of videos. And I mean, the videos, this is not something I'm making up. You can go way down to the very first video and see the trends, see all the evolutions of the videos themselves, and see that, you know, during some of these ups and downs, and just this one segment of my career, there's been doubts, there's been a lack of connection, there's been all types of things that we have to, as the creator, as the artist, as the leader in the endeavor, we have to face both internal doubts, external doubts from family, or a lack of connection from people around us. And that's why I like that Brendon Burchard said that. And whether you are, let's say you're creating an album and it's been 10 years since you have not yet created the album. Well, you know, sure, people are probably thinking that you may never make the album. That's true. And maybe they're right. Maybe you're going to take, that's a decade and you haven't made one album. And yet, on the other end of that, on the other side of that coin is potentially now is the time for you to double in and get the album out. Before I made this video, you know, I had doubts, like, it's late, it's almost 1 or 12, it's like 12 in the morning right now. I still have to upload it. And it's like, is this going to reach the right person? What can I tell? What can I tell you for making it this far in the video, for finding this video? And this isn't something that I'm making up. I'm someone just like you, struggling with the realities of life, whether it's friends and family going through their stuff, sometimes needing support. Sometimes I can't give them that support because of time constraints, or having to work and make ends meet while making sure that I get this arm of my career developing, meaning reaching an online audience. You know, so juggling these balls and sacrificing the things that can be sacrificed to make sure that the balls stay in the air that need to stay in the air. You know, hey, look, is this, for example, was this person not really in alignment with my most important targets? Let's just say you have someone in your life that, let's say for me, they might say, well, I don't really care about your YouTube channel or whatever it is that you're aiming to do with your online coaching or reaching an online audience or international audience. I don't care. What if, say they have that attitude? Well, then they're not in alignment with me. So on some level, I have to be prepared to let that relationship, you know, dismantle or sacrifice the relationship. And that's a reality, that when we really trust our inner voice, our truest self, our deepest, most sincere next move, those are some of the realities that we have to struggle with and fight with and penetrate our own consciousness, and even, you could say, impregnate our reality with those ideas. And those are big words, I think. And I'm not saying them to neither lose you or impress you, but it's really what it feels like sometimes. You know, we can get caught up in the bustle of the strategy, or the bustle of the, you know, using words like, well, make the video, send up the video, and keep on going. Like, you know, but in reality, there's a soul aspect to creating something and moving from a place of trust. And again, going back to what Brendon was saying, that's why he says, damn it, I love it at the end. Like, people might think you're crazy. People might think that, you know, it's a waste of your time. And all along, the creator, the artist, the person moving, the leader, moving through the work has to have a vision, a trust, and count what other people don't count, and nurture what other people want to discount, and pray and hope and fight within and honor the perspective of contributing an impact. These are leadership concepts. Like when I say I'm a fitness and leadership coach, I didn't get to that idea just like 2 years ago. See, that has been evolving through training one person at a time, 1 year at a time, 2 years at a time, 4 years at a time, and honing in on my own leadership within self, and then continually honing and dialing in on that process of leadership so that I can not only be a leader in my own life, but help others develop leadership in their lives, and ultimately have leaders around you, right? The ultimate goal is to have leaders around you. Some people think that, well, what's the point of having, being a leadership coach? And I think these people are short-sighted, because oftentimes, when we complain about people, when people trigger us, when we're annoyed by people, typically it's that we find that the person isn't being accountable to their own behavior. They're not showing a leadership quality. And so, let's say I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I'm not saying I'm the leader or I'm the ultimate embodiment of leadership. Just like I'm not saying I'm the ultimate fitness coach in the world. I think I'm very effective and efficient and very passionate about both of those skills. And just like anyone in your life, whether it was a musician that creates music, I expand fitness and leadership. I'm consistently expanding these elements, and that's what I do. That's my career, my purpose. That's what I feel good contributing. That's what flows out of me easily with passion. And to get to the point where I could say that and speak it comes from a place of facing, like, let's just say you might know somebody that would hear that and be like, oh, that guy, where does he think he's coming from? By the same token, you could tell someone your dream and they're going to think the same about you. So once you see that duality to, let's just say in this particular situation, you get to view me on the comfort of your telephone, on the comfort of your screen, where you in a way aren't vulnerable at the moment. You're not vulnerable at the moment. Maybe now that I'm going deep into the psychology and the elements, you're feeling a little bit of vulnerability, but I'm more vulnerable here right now, right? And with that element of vulnerability, you get to see somebody that is basically like yourself. Say you tell somebody, hey, look, I want to be an artist, I want to be a musician, I want to own a big company, I want to have a big family, I want to make an impact in the world. And some people might say, oh, the first thing you're going to hear is ridicule. First thing you're going to hear is like, yeah, right, okay? And it isn't until, like Brendon Burchard was saying at the beginning of this video when I was bringing him up, that it isn't until you really break ground that it doesn't really matter what people say, but they probably won't be saying much. If someone were to tell me, like, I think at this stage in my career, I really don't get so much when are you going to get a real job, because the level I think of my professionalism, I think, is reaching a point where it's sort of a silly question. Now, these videos, however, people could say that, like, hey, why even making those videos? Until one day they won't, because of the process and trusting the process. So, I shared a lot there, and just keep that in mind, that no matter what your dream is or your ambition or your art or what you want to create, you're going to have moments of doubt. And I wanted to give you some key ideas to just think about, dial in on your thoughts, and guide you to make better decisions or keep making the decisions you're already making. Sometimes it's not all about changing things, but doubling down on what you're already doing correctly, so that you can make more, so you can pick up the speed, and the speed is really what you want. Okay, like I wasn't really emotionally charged to make this video, but now that I'm this far in, I'm really loving it, you see? So I had to really push against like 14 minutes of stagnation and like insecurities to get here. Now that it's out, I feel great. See what I'm saying? So doubling down on what you've already done is sometimes or quadrupling down is a good step in the right direction. Okay, so that's contrary to popular belief, where people think, well, you know, if you first you don't succeed, try again, or okay, but eventually quit. No, you sometimes have to keep going no matter what. So some things to think about, to what to double down on, is what have you always loved? I remember being drawn to an electric guitar when I first saw one. And music has always been such a big solution for me. All these years later, music still helps me heal, helps me emotionally release things that are holding me back, helps me connect with people, helps me connect with myself, helps me build relationships. I love music. And so, same thing for fitness and exercise. So what have you always loved? It could be you always loved medicine. Like, I saw pharmacists today. I'm like, I don't want to be back there. You know, like, I just don't want to be back there. It's not saying I wouldn't love it on some level. I'm just saying I just knew I wouldn't. Where I knew the gym or sports and music I always was drawn to. But sometimes people might think, oh, I would never want to be on stage, or never want to be in, you know, does that make sense? So as you remove and sacrifice layers of ego, relationships out of alignment, what remains? You know, as you go through and walk through your purpose and through your career and through the things that are important to you and your values, you're going to notice you might need to sacrifice certain attitudes, layers of your ego, just layers of crap, even emotional baggage. As you release those, what sticks? What does your inner guidance say? What does your inner voice say? What do the people you trust see in you? Like, what do you love? What would you do regardless of what people say even? What would you do regardless of a critic? You see, like, what sticks? That's a good question. Pretend today is day one. Pretend today is day one. You know, like I said, today I was working with 315 pounds on an incline. And if I would have done that on day one of my fitness journey, that would have been amazing, right? Wow, you know? But that wasn't day one. But what if it was? And the same thing goes for you. Like, sometimes you can't look at it like, oh, it's taken me 7 years to get here, or it's taking me 5. You sometimes have to say, well, I've gotten really far, but it's taken me 7 years. Well, what if today was day one? And you can kind of feel that energy again, that juice, okay? Real progress and what it takes to get it is what discourages people. As you grow in your growth, in your career, your art, your whatever you're creating, understand that real progress and the work it takes to get it is what discourages people. If you've made real progress and you can handle the work, then you're already in the top percent, in the top 10, 20%. Now double down, because that you've already eliminated like 80% of the people can't handle that level of capacity. So it's something to think about, okay? Have a daily rhythm and system to your work, art, and purpose. I like to make a video a day. I like to meditate twice a day. I like to work out once a day. Set up a system. The biggest errors you can do is listen to the critics, listen to your own doubts. This is Jacob Adams. I'd love to hear your struggles and your successes. See you next time.